Hello everybody, this is John Morrow and I am here today with this gentleman who is about to be seated. This is
Hello.
Mark Guy. Welcome to Speak Brave. This is
Speak
a
Brave,
video
yes.
recording of Mark Guy's podcast that he produces for you on SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, and the iTunes Store. And periodically, Mark's podcast can also be seen on social media sites such as LinkedIn and Facebook. We're glad you're here with us today. I'm joining Mark in this process as we move forward. Right now, we're getting the computer set up and everything in alignment so that we know what we want to do. And like anything else, computers have this habit of doing things which we don't expect. So I'm hoping this is not a sign of a problem, in so much as now my screen suddenly has gone blank. So
It's thinking, I think.
yeah, it's thinking about what it wants to do to me.
Hello everyone, this is Mark and this is my friend John. Welcome to Speak Brave podcast. As always, let's get started as soon as the computer starts booting up. Starts the process, looks like it's working now. Does it look like it's working?
Now.
The gain, the infinity, everything's going well. John, are you excited about this weekend?
I am, because for those of you that are familiar with us and know as Toastmasters what time of the year it is, this is spring, we're in May, and the spring
So exciting.
conference for District 84 Toastmasters here in Central and North Florida is coming up in Orlando this coming weekend, the weekend of the 19th and the 20th of May.
It's going to be a life-changing event. Life-changing
Always.
event.
Mark's going to actually be speaking at that conference.
Yeah.
And I can tell you one thing right now, I've seen Mark at work in his workshops on body language, and it is incredible to watch Mark, because it isn't just the knowledge and the skill set that he possesses on this particular subject matter, but the other thing is that Mark is entertaining and enjoyable and very engaging. And when you have an individual that you can engage with in this type of a process, it makes for a much more enjoyable learning experience. So I will certainly be there, not just to facilitate and assist and help him be successful in his presentation, but I'll also be there to enjoy and to learn.
Thank you, John, and I'm looking forward to it as well. I invite everyone to get started. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast through Stitcher Radio, SoundCloud, and iTunes. Share it with your friends, because this truly is a labor of love, and we want you to participate and become one of us, part of the tribe. John, let's get started right away.
All right, we're ready.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do the countdown to start the podcast reporting here on Audacity, and we're glad that you're with us here on video. 3, 2,
Good morning, everyone. This is Mark.
Good morning to you, Mark.
Okay, John, this is Speak Brave podcast. I'm excited to get started with another podcast session and another learning session of discovery, exploration, and a little bit of silliness,
Of
because
course,
that's a
it's always
trademark
fun.
of Speak Brave, because we don't take ourselves too seriously, but we take the content seriously. Most
Very
of the
much so. The content is very important. We have something we want to give.
That's right. John, today I'd like to do something a little different.
Mhm.
Normally, when I start this podcast, I have a specific topic, specific agenda, and a specific flow that we follow. But today, let's break the rules.
All right.
If you
I
don't
like breaking rules, by the way, from time to time. I just
Right.
don't want to get into too serious a trouble when I do that.
Right. And that's good, because you don't want to deal with something you don't want to deal with, or something that you didn't expect. That's
There's
smart.
enough coming
That's
out
smart
of
of you.
life that we don't want to deal with.
Smart of you. John, let's turn the tables. And normally I ask a lot of questions, but why don't you ask questions of me? Because I like to dedicate this podcast to the topic of influence,
Mhm.
but influence with integrity.
Influence with integrity.
Influence with integrity and
Body language.
body language, persuasive body language. What is it? Why do we care about it? Who cares? Why should we learn? And who can benefit the most from learning body language? So, your first question, second question, 10th question, I'm ready. Anything you want to know.
Well, I want to begin with something that you've talked about in your workshops. The first time you appear in the room, the moment you walk in, the persona, the personality, the aura that you project. This is something that I think a lot of speakers don't even give thought to when they're scheduled
Really?
to speak.
Well, that's a disappointment.
It is
That's
a disappointment, because I
to
think
the audience, and I think disservice to the audience.
I agree with you. I'm interested in you giving some good, helpful advice to people. Think of it from this perspective. we're all nervous when we speak, and there are people in varying degrees in this growth process, and some are not aspiring to be professional speakers, but they certainly want to be competent, confident speakers. But confidence really, I think, has to begin before you step up to the lectern and take the handshake, or step onto the stage and stand before the people. Preparation, appearance,
Right.
even the expression on your face. This body language issue is so subtle because you have talked about how you can give an appearance off and you can throw people off guard with it, and they'll not quite be comfortable with you unless you approach with the right frame of mind from the very beginning. What do you do as you prepare off stage for the moment that you're going to walk up?
That's an excellent question, John. I see that this question has many parts, and I will be answering this question in several parts as well, and make sure that you can keep me coherent and congruent. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
All right. One of the things that I want to say right off the bat, every time you enter the room, or every time you go on stage to speak and you greet an MC or the facilitator, or you go to the award ceremony, it'll be Oscars. Maybe some of the celebrities listening to this podcast are actors and performers. So listen up. When you go and accept your Oscar for your best role, or you're going to come up and give a speech in front of 2,000 people, or 20 people, or 2 people, put a smile on it, okay? Put a smile on it. And John, there is such a simple advice. You have told me this many times before. You said, Mark, whatever you do, wherever you go, put a smile on it. Put a smile on your face, because unless you are a professional gloom distributor, okay? Are you a professional gloom distributor?
No, but
Okay.
I do know the type of individual. I've seen that persona before.
You know, maybe it's an act. Maybe you have to look gloomy. Maybe you're in law enforcement. But
Maybe
you know,
that's
I don't
right.
want-
If you're paid as a method actor to do that,
Okay.
I can understand the gloomy look. It's kind of like the kid with the cloud over its head.
Yes. So have a smile on. I don't care who you are.
Yes.
I don't care where you're going,
Mhm.
where you came from, and what may or may not happen. Put a smile on it, because at least if this is the end of your life, at least you have a smile on it. So there you go.
Mark,
That's number one advice.
Let's
Yes.
take a little bit deeper
All
advice.
right. All right.
A little deeper, not advice, but a little bit deeper. I want some more advice. I want to
No,
go a little
yeah.
deeper into it.
This is just my
Putting
intro.
on a smile is a great way to start, and I agree with you. I think we all need to be in the smile
Or
business.
whatever your enigmatic smile is, whatever
Yeah,
that
but it's got to be
mystery-
sincere. That's the part I
Oh
want to
yes,
talk
sincere
about.
is correct.
Because a lot of people will put on a smile, but I've heard it said that a lot of people can see through that.
Oh
They can
yes.
literally see when you're faking it and when you have a genuine enthusiasm about your approach. Can you talk a little more about that?
Absolutely. I believe we live in the age of what?
Well, this is a technology age. This is
Yes.
the age of vision.
Yes. John,
TV,
John,
movies, everything.
you know what? I love this discussion because, you know, you and I, we have this understanding and we understand each other's business models, our interests, and our personality and strengths.
Yeah,
I will start with this, okay?
okay.
I already started, but let's just keep going.
Well, you're going to take it to this next level because we're going to talk about that contrived
Yeah.
smile.
Yeah. In my business, speaking and
Yes.
teaching and coaching, I give a lot of speeches. This weekend I gave a speech in a major town about technology.
Yes.
Okay, and it was technology, how to automate your business. It's my speech title is how to have fun with sales funnels. It is something that is available online. You can download it from iTunes or from YouTube and look it up and look for Mark Guy and sales funnels, for example. And as I prepared for my speech, I was thinking, what are the phrases and what are the devices I can use in the speech to rile up and bring the excitement in the audience, okay?
I never heard you use the word rile up before.
Well, you know, there's first time for everything, John. I'm just saying. And let's keep going. And as I was practicing the speech and preparing the structure and how it's going to flow, I said, okay, and you know I take a lot of risks in speaking. I
Yeah.
break a lot of rules. You have to shake
Yeah,
people,
you
you
have to.
shake
You
yourself,
really do. You
okay?
got to have your own niche, and that part of that is risk taking.
So as I was preparing for the speech, I was smiling, I was having a good time, I was excited, I didn't know how people were going to react. And in the speech, having fun with sales funnels, it's about how to grow your business,
Yeah.
but do it with scale. Scalability. Build the business, scale fast, fail fast, do it often, do it again, over and over.
Right.
Scale. And I was thinking, what are the examples I can use so that people will get my message? I was looking back into my memory banks, and I discovered we living in an age of fast change. And we have seen Industrial Revolution. Do you remember that? Industrial Revolution, going through the class and in history class and social studies. And,
Very much so.
and people were talking about, your teachers were trying to impart on you the significance of Industrial Revolution.
Yes.
How it changed the course of humanity and where we are now.
Yes.
And what is the crux of the Industrial Revolution? Is scale, isn't it?
Precisely. It was Industrial Revolution that led to the development of framing in steel that created skyscrapers.
Yes.
It was the Industrial Revolution that
pushed
led to the
through us.
development of transportation
We are
technology.
in a revolution of some sort right now, not just some sort. We are in
Always.
a real, bona fide, dignified, real revolution right now.
That's
Okay.
part of the creative process of man.
So let's keep going. And I'm thinking, I'm preparing the speech, and I have a big smile on my face.
Yeah.
I'm ready to relax, I'm loose,
You obviously
I'm
like
playful.
your subject.
I love this subject, it gets me riled up in the morning, and I'm ready to go. And I believe that, and I understand that in speaking, the power of threes is important.
Let's talk about that for a
So
second, because I've heard that.
let's just follow along. So I had one, right, example.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Industrial Revolution.
Right.
And then I started thinking a little bit, and I'm just having a good time. I'm in a good mood. I'm getting ready for this presentation. Saying
Mhm.
fun with sales funnels. So in that presentation, I also make a little drawing of a little funnel. It's cute. It's a little doodle. People appreciate it. People have fun with me. I have fun with it. I make fun of myself. Everybody laughs.
Some people even pick on you about it.
Go ahead, pick on me. This is the life. Now the second example, I was thinking, okay, in the 60s and 70s, in the United States and in the rest of the world, we had another kind of revolution. The love revolution!
Yes, I was going to say a different word. I was going to say the sexual revolution.
No!
Yes,
No.
yes.
Okay. You know what? This is a PG type of show. We cross into the other territory from time to time, but we keep it straight and narrow. So first we had Industrial Revolution,
Then we have the make love, not war revolution.
right? Love revolution, right? And with that revolution, there's also scale.
Mhm.
People just start opening up, awakening, and figuring things out, and just being open and vulnerable, and that's a scale. Revolution must have scale.
All you need is love.
You see, all I needed, John, and you just go off in the John Lennon.
Beatles,
So,
yeah, the whole
so
nine.
first there was Industrial Revolution, the worldwide. Then Love Revolution, United States, other countries. Now we are in a technological, fast-paced web revolution.
Yes.
All of those revolutions have one thing in common: scale.
Yes.
And I'm thinking about this, John, and I'm realizing this. And as I'm crafting this message, I have a big smile on my face. And I'm thinking, I know my audience is going to enjoy this.
Yes, they are.
They will love this. They will laugh with me. Maybe will laugh at me.
Most of them will connect with it.
Most will connect with me because it's making a subject that they know, business, kind of boring for some people, but make it relatable. And as I'm thinking about this, I go deep, I dig deep within myself. I realize this is my authentic thinking. This is my gift to the audience. This is how I become the most authentic, the most real, the most vulnerable, so they can see right within me. There's all this sincerity because I am on their journey. I'm not an expert. I am a work in progress, but I'm pushing myself to be better and perform at a higher level. So I'm with the audience, traveling together on a journey. And when you have that kind of mindset, that you want to give your best and you're sincere and you find that playfulness, that smile, the audience will love it.
Because there's a sincerity attached
Yes.
to it, and it's genuine.
Exactly.
It's not made up. Now,
Exactly. So I know it's kind of a long-winded answer to your question, but I wanted to get in there and tell you this to the audience because this is important.
Uh-huh.
So, okay, so that makes
Now,
sense.
it makes
Okay,
sense.
So
Now,
let's go
let me
deeper
keep
on
on rolling
before
with
we
that.
go. Okay.
If you walk onto the stage,
The mechanics.
how do you feel if you walk onto the stage You've got that smile on your face, you've got that energy, that enthusiasm, there's a hop in your step.
Ha!
Everything
There's
about you is just,
up and
I
jump and
can't wait to
just-
get out there and start talking. You
Exactly.
scan the audience, you look at it, you got the smile, but you see those people out there who clearly don't seem to be receiving you with the kind of receptiveness and warmth that you're trying to convey.
Okay,
How do you,
okay.
what if somebody does that? Because we have people here listening to you who
Uh-huh.
want to learn.
Yes.
And they're not as far in their journey of communications excellence as you are. And they're bothered personally by the fact that somebody might look at them as
Okay.
almost with this,
Disdain.
"Yeah,
Rejection.
Who are you that I
Judgment.
should care what you say?"
Oh, okay, John. Oh, I love this. I love that you're bringing something very real. Because people are, I believe, people who perform and give their hearts and give their mind and their talents will get upset, riled up, possibly by just, you may have 100 people who adore you, love you, and this one person or one comment gonna ruin, not ruin, but put a little damper
Mm-hmm.
in who you are.
Takes your edge off.
Right. Maybe, maybe not. But with practice you can
Nix.
work. A little,
Nix.
just a
Nix
little
you
bit,
a little.
but this is what I want to communicate. Number one, if this bothers you, get over yourself. Okay, get over yourself. Get over, the life is moving too fast. Nobody cares if you're gonna sit in the corner and cry for the rest of your life. Nobody cares, get over yourself, move forward. That's number one example. I know it's tough, but you need to hear it. Number two, I know you're looking at me in amazement and you're thinking, Mark, are you just, what is your audience going to think? But this is who I am, John. You cannot just be bothered by everyone's opinion, supposedly whether they like you or not. Second thing, which gives me confidence to say the first thing I just said. A lot of times we take that other people's behavior, facial expressions and emotions and how they portray themselves in the public situations when you are speaking is about you. It is not. A lot of times it's about something going on in their lives.
Right.
Maybe they're tired, maybe they're comfortable, maybe they're uncomfortable, maybe they're not well, maybe they're hungry, maybe they're angry, maybe it's they have to go to a doctor, maybe they have to pay a bill, maybe there's a conflict with spouse. We don't know anything what the mind of the person is, where they come from. And that's not your responsibility to think about that. Time and time and time again. This is a secret I will share with you. And everyone who's listening, it truly will set you free. A lot of times I've seen, and I talk to audiences large and small, 5 people, 500 people, and anywhere in between. And when there's this intimate setting, when there's a group of people, maybe a dozen, 20 or 30 or 10 or 50, and I always can point out someone on their face that I don't get any reaction. It is as if there's a stone cold curtain that I cannot break through.
Mm-hmm.
I quickly recognize that. And I scan the audience for somebody who's into my speech. Immediately, who is smiling. The warmth radiates from them. And you can see they're leaning in. They have this eager nonverbal signs. They opening up to me and they laughing, they inviting the conversation. The conversation keeps going because I need that fuel to push me forward. What I have discovered next is the most surprising. Those people who supposedly in that speech had this most stone-faced look, had the most look of bewilderment, bedazzlement, amusement, or maybe of something that negative, right?
Yes.
What I have learned time and time again, those same people who didn't seem like they enjoyed me during the presentation,
Uh-huh.
took the time to call me, to write me, connect with me, and develop further relationships.
And that is true because that's happened to me. And you wonder, I thought this person would give you the time of day.
And you believe like this is a complete waste. What are they even doing in the audience? But those are the people, if you allow it, will be your best possible supporters. And maybe the reason they're so not into it in your presentation, maybe they're thinking deep and hard and reflecting on everything that's going on in their lives.
Yes.
And your words, your actions, your presence, your message affecting them in such a deep way that they don't know how to react. Because not everyone is congruent with their thoughts and their outward expression. As a beginning speaker, influencer, number one, get over yourself, stop crying. And number two, keep going. Look for the friendly faces, work for them, and that energy will transfer to everyone else. Keep going, don't look back, keep going forward, stay strong in your message, finish strong, and I guarantee you, if you give your very best at every audience that you come across, everyone will appreciate your effort. And that means something. Does that make sense?
Our listeners have this question for you.
Yes, please bring it up.
What do you think is the most powerful tool that we possess in body language?
Mindset.
Explain.
Okay. Well, according to Amy Cuddy, who is the social behavior psychologist, professor of business at Harvard Business School, she is prominent and probably one of the most famous recent scholars on body language. She says the following: body language will change your mind will change your behavior, and your behavior will change outcome. So she started with body language. However, body language starts with mindset, the idea, what you have. A lot of times, Amy Cuddy and other scientists and experts in this field of body language and movement and presence, they discovered that as humans we have a lot of fears, and a lot of times we cut ourselves and we discount our true value. And how does it manifest? We shrink down. We shrink down and contract in the face of life, in the face of fear, in the face of obstacles. And when you shrink down, you diminish your capacity to deal with issues and problems which everyone faces. But when you expand, not necessarily in a moment of tribulation, but at some point, and then you learn to expand and not to shrink down, you will have capacity to solve problems quicker. And that starts with a mindset, and then the body language, and then your behavior. So I cannot tell you what is the most important thing in body language. The second thing, so that would be the mindset. The second thing is congruence.
I like the word congruence because it's a consistency issue.
Right. So if you are congruent with what you say, what you do, and how you act, you will find confidence. And with confidence will come competence, charisma, and command presence. And congruency is the start. If you believe in what you're saying, if you believe in what you're doing, your body will find a way to be congruent. I think we're marvelous creatures, we are humans. The reason I know this is because we have this body, we have this mind, we have this opportunity to live, and we are incredible machines that are equipped with senses that we're still discovering. And when we encounter someone who says one thing, does another, there's the sense of uneasiness in our body. Our body is trying to tell us something. And we have this acuity to detect and determine inconsistency and incongruencies in what people are telling us or doing. And we just don't trust that. We don't trust those people. And I say, listen to your own body. Listen for that.
Trust your senses.
Trust your senses. Listen to that whisper. Listen to that very faint voice, which is your unconscious is trying really hard to break through your conscious barrier, trying to tell you something very important, to focus. And that's one thing when you're interacting with others. And when you interact with yourself, are you staying true to your own core values? Are you the person of integrity? And I talk about integrity because it is important to me.
Yes.
I do not claim to be the person with the most integrity. There's no score points, there's no leaderboard, but rather, I'm a man, and I do make choices. And as those choices, I'd like them to be rooted in integrity.
Yes.
I don't always win, or I don't always can put that check mark. But if you act, feel, look, talk with integrity, which is in alignment with who you are, your body language will become congruent. People will receive you better. They'll trust you more, and I think that will set you up for success. I hope it's not a sexiest answer, but it's the real one. Yeah. What do you think?
What do you think about the individual that poses to you a coaching challenge? Because as you get to know them better, you discover that in their life, they spent the better part of their developmental years always being criticized, told that they didn't measure up, that they did not look as good, or did not speak as well, or did not learn as well, or were not as cognizant and cogent as maybe they should be. So they come from a negative background, and here they're trying to communicate something, but they have deep, I guess you could say, conditioned responses of self-consciousness and a degree of a lack of confidence in themselves, to the point that it can be almost debilitating. Is that a challenge that may be next to impossible to overcome?
John, this question is challenging.
Well, I ask only from this perspective
I will
because
answer it,
there is
yes.
an aspect in my life, in my development,
Yeah.
not so much with my parents as it was with family, in-laws,
Yes.
and with peers. And emerging into the person that I am today, who has this much higher degree of confidence, was a work in progress. And I did not really have a mentor or a guide or a coach, at least not until I became a Toastmaster, and then I inherited a whole slew of
Yes.
mentors and
Yes.
guides and
Right.
coaches in this process.
Right.
But now here you are speaking from a coaching perspective.
Yes,
You
I am an
deal with
executive
people
coach.
as a coach.
Mhm.
So what is your position that you would take with these individuals as you get to know them and you see that they're not connecting as easily as you would like them to in this process?
Okay. I will answer this in this way. John, number one, when I do this work with people who need my coaching, and there is quite a large number of people who work with me and do I work with, I come from a place of deep understanding, deep empathy, because I've been there, and I have suffered from bullying, suffered from abuse, suffered from judgment, and downright ignorance. Nobody is insured against that. But then you have a choice, whether you want to stay there or find a road that works for you, and you can take small wins, small steps on your way to a confident you. So at first, I listen. I listen very attentively, and I listen for what is not being said. And I listen with the deep, empathetic mindset, because I've been there. My coaching clients, maybe a woman, maybe a man, different ages, different societal status, but what we can relate on is that pain of shrinking, the pain of hiding, the pain of denial, and that is real. I don't claim to be a therapist or a mental counselor.
No.
I come from a place of mutual understanding and pain that I have experienced. That's number one.
So there's empathy
deep empathy. Second, after that, I ask my clients to take a first step. Whether they need it from me, whether I say, I believe in you, or an author comes to me and says, I've been thinking about this book and I just cannot make it work. I say, you know what? Why don't I find a book and I'll create a cover in my Word document. I'll put your name on it, title of your book. I'll glue that to some other book and I'll give you that book. So every time you wake up in the morning, you grab your book from the nightstand and you see your name on it. You see the title of your book and you touch it, you feel it. It's one little step.
That's interesting.
Because I believe in you. And then there's work that must be done and followed through, and I have a specific process for that as well.
And as a coach, there's a lot of patience involved in that process too, obviously.
Right. And I have learned the patience as being a servant leader, as being serving my congregation at a church, for which I think I received masters in leadership
Without actually taking an official course.
Yeah, because I learned and I
The
failed
school
and I
of
tested.
life.
And yes, so does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
See, when I do my coaching, there's a lot of nuances and understanding and deep knowledge and deep desire to help. Because you cannot achieve success alone. I've tried it. You can spin your wheels and try this and try that, and it's going to be harder. If you can find somebody who you trust, somebody who resonates with you, fire yourself and hire a coach.
I'm glad you said that, because I think if there was anything that I would say to an individual, too many self-help books talk about what we have to do with our self-talk in order to be better. But I don't think they really speak to the more important issue, and that is life being a journey is traveled best with a companion or companions
Who's done there?
who have done that, and also who have your best interests at heart. They're not just along for the ride to tell you when you mess up. They're there to say, okay, let me show you what worked for me. Let me tell you about the experience I had and how I was able to overcome it. And what happens is you begin to take on friends, partners, coaches,
Allies.
mentors, and yes,
Yes.
very good choice word there, allies.
Absolutely.
And I like that because I think, and I notice we're beginning to come up short on time here,
Yes.
the relationship that I have with you and with Dr. Diane Longstreet as we started this mastermind together now over 2 years ago, going on 2.5 years ago, had to do with me moving out of a spot where I was really thinking more of being self-motivated, and I realized that my self-motivation required someone there to serve, to check my progress, and to advise and to help me better channel this motivation towards a higher degree of success on a step-by-step basis.
Absolutely. And I hope this conversation that we started here